2024 at 9 a.m. in the courtroom. Would you please rise for the prayer and the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have bestowed upon Mills County. Father, be with us as we do the business of Mills County. Guide and direct us in all our actions. And thank you for the rain you have blessed upon our team. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Yes.
Turn it on.
I turned it on.
Good. Be sick. Like I said, I've been paid by four.
So if y'all haven't noticed, there's a lot of substitutes in the courtroom today. So me being one of them, Judge is out because he's not feeling well. And we got Ms. Fincher's here for the clerk, and Ms. Debbie's here for the treasurer's office. So we'll see if we can make it through this morning. I know there's gonna be probably some questions and stuff that I may not be able to answer, but we'll see what we can do to go through that. Miss Summer is online with us, and I think the JP is online. Is that correct? Yeah, I think so. So we're having technical issues with the screen up on the wall. So I know TAC Healthy County is actually did you need to make a presentation with that later on or no? Good. So we'll go on, review and act on the minutes from May the 21st to the 24th and the 28th, 21st and 28th. The 21st was a workshop and the 28th was a regular stated meeting.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes for May the 28th and May the 21st as presented. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Audience with individuals, do we have any? No. Review and act on accounts payables. Accounts payables was sent out over last Friday and through the weekend. If y'all have any questions, comments.
Nurse department, don't we pay into the law library, everyone here?
Law library, well, I don't know if that's a sheriff's department.
No, what it is,
Is that on?
page 12.
Yeah,
I mean, before we've always had one that we paid
Yeah,
into yearly.
that's not through the sheriff's department though. That's, yeah, that's a Brown County. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll make a motion that we approve the accounts payables as written. Have a second, Commissioner Wright, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the consent agenda. Before you is a consent agenda that we do once a month, every month. Just to let you know that item F is the facilities report is not in there and it will be tabled to next Commissioner's Court. Other than that, everything else is presented. One thing on the MCAD report that, I've been asking that last 2 or 3 months, it is back up to where it can actually start. Average where it should be, so.
No, about the only thing on mine there was the EMS and sheriff's department there. 45 EMS off sheriff's department, 61 off the EMS paperwork.
Say that one more time, make sure I'm
The
following.
call outs on the EMS through the sheriff's department and their numbers and the EMS numbers not, is a pretty big gap.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what that difference is.
And then they explain it once before if they, I mean, you're gonna get the call at the sheriff's department, but if they go out and don't do anything from the ambulance, they don't count it as a.
I don't know if the second. Get counted up for the first one. All I think about.
And it may be, Robert, it may be on, medical 31, if that line goes up. A little bit off, if that's closer to running up in, 41, 42 and 11. All those are different. Correct, I see what you're saying. You understand what she's saying?
They did add that second call out the groups call sheet. It's not actually being sent out.
Oh, I got you. So, yeah, so, and and the EMS is claiming it as another call and y'all are claiming it as the same call. Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, usually, you're with,
Right.
and you, gotcha.
Hey, any other questions, concerns? Call for a motion.
Motion to approve, approve the monthly reports.
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All four say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to our action agenda. Consider an act on security bonds for Sheriff Anthony Poole, Deputy Caleb Hobson, and Deputy Zachary Sandelin. And those are in your packet too. Any questions? Motion's been made. We have a second.
Second.
Motion's been made by Dell, second by Robert to approve the security bonds for Poole, Hopkins, and Sandelin. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, next. Next, we have a presentation by Texas Association of Counties, Healthy County, by Ashley Curitan. Would you come up here to the podium, please, ma'am? And welcome and thank you for coming today. And I'm I know what Healthy Counties is, so I can't set you up much. Our HR and treasurer person is out and our judge was not out today. So Healthy Counties, maybe they need to talk to you. Well,
Yes.
you just go from there.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I did touch base with Summer. She let me know that she wouldn't be in attendance today. But I basically wanted to kind of give you guys some information about what the program is, why we use it, all of that information as well. And then also taking the opportunity, because we are in the renewal season, you guys have received your renewal, all of that ties in together. That's really what the whole point of our wellness program is that risk management to reduce that healthcare costs at the end of the day. So we think about our safety programs and all of those things when it comes to workers' comp and trainings along that way. That's what we utilize Healthy County for. So all of our members in the health pool have access to the Healthy County program. So I did bring a handout with me. This is going to be our Healthy County resources flyer. We do include it in the resource guide that employees get every year when it comes to open enrollment. It includes all their benefit information. This has an overview of all of the different programs and resources available to you all. So I am your wellness consultant. So we should have started with that first. That is my role. I am a wellness consultant. There's a team of 6 of us who work together on this program. There are 5 of us who are managing your account along with your employee benefits consultant as well. So again, tying both of those things, your health plan and then also the wellness program, using that as a holistic approach. But I'll pause there to hand you guys this handout and also hand you my card. Also just knowing that with Orlando, who is your employee benefits consultant, myself and Haley IIC, we are the ones who are working. So whether it is having questions about your renewal, about your plan, being able to look at different things that you guys can do, whether it is wanting to save money, wanting to increase the benefits, make those things richer, because at the end of the day, we know that our employees are our biggest resource. They're the biggest asset. And so what are those things that we can do to continue to make sure that they are feeling supported in all aspects of their job as well? And we know that that benefits package is a huge part of that. That's a lot of the reasons why we do have employees that come and work for our counties, because they do offer some pretty rich benefits than what you would find out in the private sector as well.
So can you give us a little bit, what are some of the Healthy County things that you are doing right now?
Yeah, so with this flyer here, I'll share, thank you. So basically, some of the things that we are really working on is going to be that educational piece. We look at our program as a 3-tiered approach. So 1, making sure that our member groups being able to provide those benefits and resources to your employees. But then also as the health pool, making sure that we're going out, looking at the market, seeing what programs, resources, whether it is what is available to help members manage a chronic condition. If they have high blood pressure, they manage diabetes, how can we assist with those types of things? And then my role, my biggest role that I feel like that makes everything very important and actually moves the needle is that educational component. So earlier in March, I was out here and that was the opportunity where employees were able to come past. I was able to share them information about the program, those different tools and resources, sign them up for the different incentive programs that we have available to them as well. So that is one piece of that. If employees don't know what's available to them, then everything that we're doing is for naught. That's really how I believe in that. The other thing that we are really trying to continue to having more conversations, strategic conversations with our groups when it comes to managing your health plan and also along with that wellness program as well. Really being able to use that as a vehicle to make sure that we're driving that healthcare cost in the other direction. That is our goal, that is our director's goal as well, and that is our board's goal. So our board is made up of different elected and appointed officials around the state as well, and so they're the ones who are making decisions on what it is our renewal rate is going to be, that health plan options, what plans that we do offer, the programs and resources that are available too. So just kind of looking in both lens, working on the strategic side with our member groups, but then also having that educational component with employees as well. One other opportunity that we do have is going to be conferences. So we do host 2 conferences. One is going to be our Healthy County Boot Camp. And that is specifically, it's not the physical boot camp type of thing that we have. Although we do have some physical activity programs that they can come and attend, but I always say if I start running, y'all better run with me because that means that we are in threat, okay? But just knowing that that's an educational opportunity to understand what we are doing strategically and also how we're trying to manage the plan. But then also we do coordinate with our risk management pool. So you guys do participate in that. You have Sharon Blankenship that comes out with you guys. Victor just retired, which we're all kind of feeling the heat of that. But you guys do work with them. And so we come together for our county management and risk conference as well. So that's another opportunity where you're able to see both sides, what both pools are doing to help manage the cost for our groups as well. But we also do attend all of your affiliate conferences as well. So judges and commissioners conferences, whether it's the statewide or in the territory as well. But those are some of the things that we are doing. What we have recently done is we've moved our platform from what we would really call just like a physical activity platform, and that was with Sonic Boom in the past, where now we have WebMD1, which is more of a holistic program. So if you look at the first page up at the top, there's 2 sections there that talk about the WebMD1 program. So with that, it's more of a holistic approach for our members to be able to, one, earn incentives. We do have an incentive program that is available. They can earn $75 by participating in that. So whether it is getting things like an annual exam, we are really trying to push the importance of health and taking care of those things. So that way, when you do catch something or you have something that is earlier in advance, it one, improves your quality of life as you are managing those things. It costs the plan less, and then it's also going to cost the employee less when it comes to managing that too. So with those different programs, along with physical activity contest, if they are managing high blood pressure or diabetes, there's a program called Teladoc Health, formerly known as Livongo. You guys have been here for a while. That program is available. Members who participate in that can find out too. But the other thing with the WebMD1 program and the platform, which is why we went with them, is that it's more of a holistic approach. So it's not just going to be that physical activity component, but if they're wanting information on improving their sleep or managing stress, 2 things that I've been working on, then you are able to use those tools and resources for free. Asking questions, whether it is for nutrition's sake or wanting to find different ways to maybe have some low impact physical activity. Those are the types of things that they can do on this platform as well, and it's available at no cost. But there are all different types of programs here. Again, the biggest thing, and especially what Summer and I had talked about, is just wanting to let you guys know that these resources are here and available. And this is one way that we're trying to help and make sure that we can continue to reduce the cost of healthcare for the county as well. And then also for employees, because we know having to pay. Those are things that are tangible, that we want to be able to use. So just making sure that they know these resources are available, the things that are available through the Cross Blue Shield to help reduce costs as well. If they have to have an MRI or a CAT scan, they can go online or open up their app and they can find the lowest cost option as well. By putting in the zip code, we know that you guys have to travel out. Right. And that's our biggest thing, is what can we do to help make sure that the rural parts of our state, because we do have over 180 counties in our health pool, we are close to 231 members. So appraisal districts, water districts as well, they can participate in our health pool too. But with knowing that our population is a lot of rural areas, how can we make sure that we can help them save some costs as well? And anything that we can do when it comes to the network, that's what we're here for as well.
Well, I know I've been here long enough in my past, we remember the Sonic Boom. And it was really hard competition there for a little while. There were some people that really got into it, but kind of went down after that. But
yes. We call it the Pebble Gate. We know that back in the day when it was a little pebble that you could stick on your shoe and you can go and move around and it would track your steps. Those were kind of the easy days. I started out as an intern, and so when members lost their Pebble, I was the one to mail them a new one. So that was a part of my job when I did start out again as an intern with tech. So the other thing is we still do have those devices. We offer 2 free devices now. So if employees do want to participate in that, they can get a Fitbit or a Garmin to help track that activity as well, or if they want to use their phone or anything like that along the way too. But again, just wanting to bring this to you all's attention as we're in that renewal season, talking about open enrollment. These are the times that we want to make sure that we can educate employees on what is available to them and the choices that they do have.
I received, I don't know if everybody received it, but for the county, I received a postcard saying that Scott and White Blue Cross Blue Shield will no longer be accepting Blue Cross Blue Shield from us for the county. Is that correct?
So they are going through negotiations right now. So our thing is, both of them, they're too big to be able to operate in silos. One, they both need each other in order for their membership basically to be successful. So we are in hopes that they are going to come to the table. This isn't the first time that this has happened with a big group. We had Memorial Hermann a couple of years ago back in the Houston area. Same thing. They ended up actually terminating their relationship, and 3 days later they came back to the table and then backed all of the claims and paid everything, and they're back in network. And so usually when those things happen within a big market like that, they're usually going to come to the table because again, they can't live without each other.
Basically, you're telling me not to panic yet.
Yes, don't panic yet. Yeah, don't panic. And we understand within this area, they are a huge provider for you all. And so we are staying on top of that. We're talking to our Blue Cross account management. They're keeping us updated on what those negotiations are. But I would definitely say don't panic.
Cause I know a lot of people who go this. Temple. Anybody have any questions?
I guess the only thing I had a commissioner when we get an email or something, they want to look at the insurance for their family, and there's no way on what they make that they can cover their families.
Yeah, so that's one thing we're also working on is figuring out how we can make that dependent coverage more affordable. Because we are very well aware of that there are members who want to be able to cover their families and just physically, financially, just unable to do it. And so we are working on a pilot program on board, just improve that right now. So they are going through that to see if there's a way that we can go ahead and reduce that healthcare cost. Yeah. Yes, it's definitely something that we are looking at. We have a lot of groups who have also begun to offer dual options because of that. And so being able to, whether it is a higher deductible, just so that way employees can afford to cover their family. And then within that, you're also knowing that 9 times out of 10, it's not necessarily because they need that insurance, it's better to have it and not use it than to not have it, need it type of thing. So those are some options that we can look at as well, whether it is looking at dual options for you guys too. But again, all of those things, we're definitely well aware of that. We're trying to do what we can to make sure that we can reduce that cost.
Anybody else have any questions from Ms. Ashley? Sure. You have any? None? Okay. If you have any extra one of these, do you mind giving it to Debbie so she can put it in Summer's office and stuff like that in case anybody has questions later?
I need an extra one too.
And you'll need one for the.
Oh.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Ms. Ashley. Thank you for coming.
You all have a good
So this goes right into next of what she was talking about is we jump right into our consider an act on group medical health plan. That is in your packets there. I will do my best to try to explain that. If Summer's still online, I think she can help. So if you'll look, most of y'all automatically go to page 3 there is what you look at, but it gets down to the tax is what is it going to cost? And for the same coverage and the same rate that we have. We have medical plan 1100 NG, $25 copay, $750 deductible, 80%, and then 3,000 out of pocket. Max, you have an RX program, and our rate of increase is 2%. So that rate is lower than giving us a different option to look at. So the recommendation from Summer and from, I guess, from TAC also is just to stay at what we currently have. We can discuss that. We can table this. What it is going up, the employee only is going up $19.40. And the others are going up, as Dale alluded to, employee and family is going up $50. And employee and spouse is going up $41. So, I don't know if someone would like to join in and say anything, but, really, this is not changing anything. It's going exactly what we currently have and no changes to the benefits. If y'all don't want to do that, and want to look at something else, we'll have to table this and come back with further assistance. For those that take dental, you can see that. Those that take vision, you can see that pay increase on the other side. Also, the waiting period and all that is the same. And just looking at vision vision didn't change at all. So a little bit on dental, if y'all got that. I'm sorry.
So that's less of an increase as it's been done in the past, so.
Yeah. But it is an increase. I don't know what. 7 years in a row, so. Don't have, I don't know if I have the figures.
We have to have this in by the 28th, is that correct?
And you can look at some of those medical reports down there and the dates and stuff. We were way down. I mean, way down compared to what it has been in the past. So. Again, I guess we're a healthy county. For the last little bit anyway.
About the only thing we do for our employees that helps whatsoever, but we have to at least give them something, and if it's an increase of 2%, so be it. Kind of agree with Dale on the family deal, the employee and the family. I wish we could go high.
Well, that's the first thing in their life when they come to work. You just have to tell them their family has to look elsewhere. Has our out of pocket always been 3,000?
No, it was actually cheaper years ago, but I mean, we upped that a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Cause actually, the way I look at that, it's not $700, not $50 deductible, it's 30.
I mean, the only way you're gonna go down is if your $750 deductible is you're gonna have to lower that. Or raise that deductible. To get your increase, to get your monthly rates to go down.
Yeah, you don't wanna do that because they're already.
Well, it's
You know.
750, so 1,500 or whatever. But yeah, it's more cost to the. That's an option. What is the board's pleasure? I make a motion that we approve the group medical plan as presented with the 2% increase.
That's dental, vision, and medical. I'll second it.
Motion's been made by me, seconded by Commissioner Wright, to approve the group medical plan as presented. Any questions? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next on the list is your, consider an act on TCDRS retirement. See, did we have any paperwork on that? I don't think so. Do y'all have any?
I don't think it's any change from what we've had.
Okay, so. Again, I'm not just coming in on this with a short stick. Summer may still be on there. She can help us out. A letter from Ralph Wallace at TCRDS to Judge Johnson. Each spring, TCRDS generates a plan assessment to help your view of your retirement plan. Your plan assessment is now available at .org. To address it, you need to sign in, yada, yada. Let's see here. Let's skip down. Your 2025 employer contribution of TCDRS retirement plan is 14%. Your employment percent rate is 7%, and your group turn rate is 0.17%. So I'm reading this, that it's going from 14 to 17. The reason being this is demographics for our county's employer in Mills, county employees in Mills County. The demographics of your county employees in Mills County. So I guess our age went up, so it's increasing our rate from 14 to 17.
That would be a positive thing, wouldn't it?
Summer? Have to unmute yourself.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I kind of got kicked out while y'all were discussing this. So I haven't heard what you've presented. The only changes are group term life insurance went from 0.15% to 0.17%. Everything else stays the same.
So on the retirement rate, that's a positive thing, or is it a negative thing from 14 to 17?
Well,
Or money out?
I guess this would be a great question for our Representative Ralph Wallace, but to me, the increase covers the increase in age of employees. It's gone down last year, and now it's going back up.
Action to take on this? But anyway, they're here, so. Any questions, comments? I make a motion that we approve the
TCDRS.
rate assessment plan for retirees for TCDRS with the increase from 0.14 to 0.17. You hear a second? Second by Commissioner Head? Yeah. All in favor? Any opposed? You opposed? I'm sorry, or you
No.
for? You're for. Okay. Motion passed unanimously. Okay, Ms. Holly, you are up to the podium. And so, next, we're gonna discussion the flood and damage assessment. We've been getting stuff from, daily in there, or not, but we've been pretty good at stuff regularly from Mr. Weeks.
Yes, Mr. Weeks. So that's not a scam. Mr. Weeks, he also works for Texas Division of Emergency Management. He is a recovery coordinator that has been assigned to Mills County. So the emails you were getting from him are sufficient. They're not a scam, they're nothing like that. So please make sure you read them. But today I just wanted to go over with you a couple things that kind of came up to us this last week. So on Friday of this last week, we were added to the federal list. So Mills County, Hamilton County, Coriel County, Bell County, and Eastland County. There was about 36 of those counties that were added to the federal FEMA list to start applying for public assistance. Public assistance is your bridges and your roads and your parks. So all of the damage assessment we did last month. So just to give you a little bit of insight of the process, because it's a very long process and it's a very confusing process.
Let me ask a question real quick.
Yes.
Before we go into that process.
Yeah.
You're saying that we've been approved,
For to
FEMA.
apply.
no, to apply, not to get the money.
Not to get the money, to apply for the money. So, yes,
Same
to
thing.
apply for money, that's why I'm going into the process.
I thought that's what our letter was applying for FEMA money. That the judge sent out and all that other.
That was a request to please allow us to apply.
So,
That was him asking for the federal government.
so we had to ask to get on the list, and now that we're on the list, we have to ask to get money, is what you're telling me?
Sounds like it.
Yes. So I'm fixing to go in the process.
Okay.
It's a long, strenuous process. We had that workshop last month, and I told y'all, I was very honest, that it's gonna be a long, drawn out process. So first, we had the disaster happen the beginning of May. Then all of us went out and we did damage assessments. We took pictures, we made educated guesses, things of that sort. When all the counties started coming up, started popping, started making these damage assessments, and we started asking and saying, hey, we have $2 million worth of damage. That is what Mills County, we were a little over 2 million with all four of you and doing damage assessments with me and other people. We got a little over 2 million of educated guesses. FEMA went in there and validated some of those damage assessments. They validated $379,000. Don't freak out, because we have to meet our county threshold. Our county threshold is $20,497.60. We met that, we went over that. So now that was sent, FEMA said, okay, Mills County has met their threshold, they overcompensated their threshold. We waited. Friday, we got on the list to apply for public assistance with the federal government. The next process with that is FEMA is still looking at all of our assessments. They're still, seeing what they can validate. But the next process is that from Friday, we have 30 days to put in our application for public assistance. In that 30 days, we are going to have an application briefing. It is a meeting that has a FEMA personnel. It has Mr. Weeks, our recovery coordinator, has myself, and has a few other state and federal partners in there. And they will meet with all of you to discuss, answer questions, discuss the application, and maybe even do the application in that briefing. I'm hoping we can get the meeting set up in the next week, since we finally got the official say on Friday. We understand that for all 5 of y'all to be in the same room, you have to have the 72-hour. So of course, the federal government understands that. So we're hoping they do that probably next week sometime. So we have enough time to do a 72-hour workshop hosted, something like that.
Gerald, would that fall under emergency type meeting or no? Could you
You have
just?
30 days to do it.
Probably not. Okay.
So that's kind of what I was thinking, since you have 30 days,
And they try to set up those meetings back to back. So we might be in the morning one day and Hamilton in the afternoon and, or San Saba or whatever. So they try to do all of our counties back to back, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, so that nobody's missed and that everybody can be on the same page.
Is that open to the public?
No, that is not an open meeting to the public, only by invitation. So of course, that's gonna be your commissioner's court, your county attorney, your sheriff's office.
Commissioner's Court is open to to the public, so.
That was,
It'd be a workshop on it.
You know, workshop's open to the public, so it'll have to be executive session, correct?
Yeah, it has to be executive session, it has to fall into one of the categories for an executive session, I don't think that does.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I think it'd have to be an open meeting.
I don't know how you got
I mean, I guess we could look into it, but it was my understanding that it was an invitation only meeting. I can look into it and see what we get.
Well, it's far enough having a meeting, an official meeting by invitation only, unless it's executive session. And the Texas government code goes through particular categories of when you can have an executive session. And I don't see that fits in there, maybe it misses.
One of the reasons why I wanted to come talk with y'all today, because we needed to discuss this, to figure out what we need to do. Because this is, I mean, we don't want the whole public in this meeting. So, I mean, but like I said, we can chat with Mr. Weeks and talk with our FEMA rep and see what we can do on this.
I think we're gonna have to.
I can do that this afternoon, like that, and I'll shoot you an email on that.
Not only that, in our workshops, I've invited the newly elected commissioner too,
Well, yeah,
and we
and-
was, and he
again,
won't
in
be
a
able to.
workshop, though, you couldn't do a workshop, because workshop, no decisions are made, so you couldn't make a decision on anything presented that they're presenting. So it'd have to be a commissioner's court to make a decision. And so.
But it's still a notice to public meeting.
Correct. Yeah.
So let me work.
Now, you don't have to put it on YouTube.
Yeah, that, agreed,
Right.
agreed.
This is a public meeting.
So let me work on it and I'll. shoot
You
y'all an
don't have a
email.
whole lot to show up.
You don't have a perfect public.
But once we do that application briefing, again, from Friday, you have 30 days to send in your application for request for public assistance. The other thing is, yes, they validated $379,000. You still have to prove it. So that is where I had a discussion with the judge and Summer, and of course with the sheriff's office, Anthony, as you have to prove it. So timesheets, labor costs. Last 6 months, how much have you paid for Tin Horns and Caliche? Do you have receipts for it? All the pictures that we've taken, all of those things. This is where the hard part comes. And I told y'all that in the workshop. This is where it comes. And so I don't want to, I want to be blunt with y'all. It's going to be a long process. And I keep saying, poor the sheriff's office, poor Summer, because they're going to be the ones uploading the paperwork and working with the FEMA and TDM personnel. So just know that's what we're doing right now. The ball is rolling. We're at the next step. I'm gonna shoot that email out to y'all showing that 36 counties were added to the public assistance federal money and allowed to apply for it. And again, Mills County did make that list. So we're just on to the next step of having this application briefing. Then again, we have 30 days to send in our application requesting for assistance. Once FEMA receives that, they're gonna start calling and emailing, asking for paperwork, documentation, pictures, proof of why you actually need this money. And that's.
So talk to some other counties and stuff, and when they went through this process, they sent a representative from FEMA that come and explained everything that we were fixing to go through. Is that you?
No,
Okay.
that's the application briefing. That's where we're gonna have a FEMA representative. You're gonna have Mr. Weeks, Matthew Weeks, with our recovery coordinator, with the state level, with me, plus myself and a few other people from the state. But that application briefing is where you need to bring your questions, and that's where they're gonna explain everything to you. that meeting that
We
we.
don't know what questions we have because we've never done
Right,
that.
right, but like I said, I've sent you some of this documentation, I'm gonna send you some other stuff. You've talked to other counties, if you've had any questions brought up from other counties, make sure to bring those with you. But this application briefing is specifically for that, for a FEMA representative to come in and talk to y'all about what is to come. So that's the whole point why we have that.
A week after we went and looked at all the damage, we had exactly, if you had the temporary repair, we had the same damage all over.
And that is why it's very important to document that you temporarily repaired it, and then we had another storm come in and it screwed it up again. That's why I've been big on y'all taking pictures and documenting that you did a temporary repair. Then the next day it stormed and flooded, and you had to go back and do that same temporary repair. That's what FEMA wants to see, is they want to see that you did a fix, it messed up again, and you had to do it again. But you have to have pictures, you have to have documentation for it. I mean, you have to prove that it was actually.
We also, Mr. Weeks sent the green sheet out.
Yes.
Well, I was burned and I didn't get it approved.
So that is different. That's different. So this is an emergency debris site. If you are wanting to set up a debris site somewhere in the county for public use and private use, then yes, you have to go through that process. I talked to the judge, he didn't feel like he was into it, I talked to them, there was no discussion of having one. But that was an emergency debris site if and when you wanted the public to help you or let the public bring in their debris or things of that sort. So
Yeah.
nobody else.
We should have done that. Do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Long ago.
So it's not a requirement, Mr. Lee sent that out, just in case y'all did need that. I didn't see the need for it and nobody said anything. I talked to the judge, he was whatever. But if we need to go through, it's a long drawn process because the DEQ has to come in and make sure there's no endangered animals and go through that whole process. Make sure there's no graveyards under there, anything like that. So.
They're gonna haul it
I
anyway.
would say that's probably for tornado.
So again, that's just one of those requirements they have to send out and give you the.
And it's a probably a question for we have, is, how did they come up with 374,000?
That's a good question to ask them. Please ask them that.
So they're only gonna approve that much work to be done. So-
They only validated those. So we were a little over 2 million that all of us went out and did the damage assessments. That 1.5 million, that wasn't validated, you have to provide proof to them of why it should be validated. And that's where the receipts come in and the pictures come in. If you want the whole $2 million, you have to provide proof. And that's why I told y'all in the workshop, it's every documentation. I need it. It's a very long process.
So basically,
Beforehand, so they're gonna say, well, what'd you do beforehand?
That's why I've been telling y'all, please from now on, take pictures, document, because that is the big deal. And that is where, in the past, in history, that is where we've seen counties, they weren't documenting prior, or they just weren't documenting altogether. And that's where we see a lot of issues. And that's why I'm pushing y'all to document.
But so much of our expenditures was replacing hopefully with concrete. And now I've heard that they will not upgrade.
It depends.
It
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why if they do decide to upgrade to concrete, is if you have proof that it's washed out the last 6 times. Just an example. If you have proof that it washes out every time it rains, then yeah, they may consider upgrading to concrete.
but it ain't rain, it ain't already rained. This is the first time it's raining 3 years, so I mean, who's got documentation?
Commissioner over in Hamilton County, Dick Clary, said, hey, guys, he said, they're pretty sticklers about doing exactly what it was beforehand.
stuff.
He's the perfect, he's the closest one to our county that has dealt with FEMA, and he'll agree with me. They are very strict on their, requirements. And so that's why, I've been telling y'all, I'm sorry, but I know what's gonna happen if we don't continue to document it.
So are they putting a time frame on this? Have they talked anything about a timeline?
Yes. So, and I sent y'all this in a long time ago, it's beginning of May. After that, we talked about, I sent you this. It's public assistance and what is it? So public assistance, includes debris removal, emergency protective measures, road and bridges, which most of ours was road and bridges, water control facilities, public buildings and equipment, utilities, and parks, recreation facilities, and other facilities that would fall under that. So now we're on step one for public assistance. We got approved by the federal government to apply for it. So step one is an application briefing, what I was discussing with y'all today. It's a general discussion of the public assistance program, so that FEMA representative will come out, talk to y'all about it, and then if you have any questions, concerns, that's a good time, but they'll also have, you can email them and call them. Same with Mr. Weeks. He is our recovery coordinator for the state of Texas. So please call him, text him, email him. He is always available. So again, and if you can't get a hold of him or have any questions, I'm here. That's why I'm here, is to be that liaison for y'all. After that briefing, you have 30 days to send in your application for public assistance, asking for that money or asking for that reimbursement. And so the next step after that is you'll have a couple of phone calls. After that application, it's about 7 days after you applying, you'll get it's called an exploratory call. They start talking to you, start telling you what they need, what kind of documentation, what kind of pictures. Start talking to you about what you already have, things of that sort. And then it just keeps going. You start having meetings, you start having phone calls, you start having deadlines for certain things. And so it's a 4-step process, but there's about 10 different steps in each of those 4 steps. So I hate to get your blood pressure up, but I'm just trying to be honest with y'all. Like I said, we talked about it at that workshop, and it's very long and strenuous. It's very long and strenuous. That's the process. And like I said, I sent this to you. I'll resend it to you. But again, Mr. Weeks, now that we have made the list to apply for public assistance, you will be getting even more emails and phone calls and things of that sort. But I'm planning on being at every meeting, every email. I'm there to help you out. That's always why I'm here. So if I don't know the answer, I've got about 50 people I can call and get the answer.
So can we still add to damages, or is that done?
No, we can still add, we can still, go out and do piece tags. So, if I know you know how to do it, I can work on getting y'all knowledge on how to do it. Or just call me and I'll go out and get, if you have some more damages, if there was a temporary fix and you fixed it and it went away again, let me know and I'll go out there with you and do another piece tag. We can do that until we're told otherwise.
So the question I have for you is that last week a maintainer was burned up. That maintainer was set in that location to deal with the flooding and the road repair during that actual, the flood damage and stuff like that. Can that maintainer, I know we're gonna apply for insurance, but can that maintainer be recouped because it usually normally wouldn't be sitting there?
They're gonna tell you to go through insurance first. If you have insurance, we're gonna go through it first. I hate to tell you that, that's the courthouse, you go through insurance first. If insurance denies it or doesn't pay for it at all, then yeah, we can potentially work on it. But we can document it and see what they tell us. But I'm gonna tell you, they're gonna ask you about insurance first.
So that will be another thing longer down the line, is that we're gonna be one maintainer short doing some of this work and stuff. So that's the FEMA part of it.
I would suggest you document it so that they can't say you didn't document it. And and that's a good question to bring up to them when we have our application briefing, because they will tell you exactly how it is. But I'm going to tell you right now, the first question is, does it have insurance on it?
Yeah.
Always going to be the first question.
We're working on that right now, so it's just.
That's anything. They're going to ask you, do you have insurance? just know that roads and bridges are a little bit different, but when it comes to equipment or public buildings, first question is, does it have insurance? Go through your insurance first.
Oh, she's
Fun.
rainbow.
I want to help y'all to the best of my ability. I want to be blunt with y'all because I don't want to sugarcoat it. It's gonna be long, and that's why I keep saying for everybody, because it's a long process.
It's just,
I don't mind it being long or strenuous or whatever, but I have great, because 374,000 when you touch the damage that we got, because that'd be less than 100,000 per precinct.
Exactly.
And that's not even anywhere in the ballpark. You know, I don't mind doing the work, but I think it needs to be a good bit more.
I agree with you. And that's their whole thing, is they're gonna come into this briefing that we have. They're gonna say, we validated 379. You have to show me proof why we should validate more than that.
And if we can prove it, they'll say, okay, great. They'll agree with you and they'll validate that. But unless you have proof, they're not gonna validate it. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how FEMA validates things exactly. I know they, of course, look at the pictures. They compare to a normal state of Texas cost of road, labor costs, things of that sort. But that's when if your labor cost is more than what they validated, you gotta have proof of that. If you're Caliche, you pay more than what they validated, you have to have proof of that.
So receipts, labor costs, time sheets, things of that sort, they're gonna be asking for that.
they only approved 15%.
So yeah, it was. a
How
little
about
bit-
donated equipment? That's, I mean, material.
How you get a price on that?
Do you have proof that it's donated?
Have anything in writing?
No.
That's the other problem. And that's what I'm saying.
You know, the landowners, they came forward and offered this to help us get back, you know, our roads back up, and they're not asking for anything.
But you do,
But
you
not-
do log your labor time though.
Yes,
But the whole
labor and
effort,
equipment
guys,
use.
to get this done in any time and whatsoever. Just like Hamilton County in 2007. They hired companies to come in, because I remember them topping from Indian Gap to Cobb Wells in one stretch. I mean, they topped the whole road.
And that is another thing that you need to bring up when we have this application briefing in the next week. Bring that up and see what FEMA would reimburse, because a lot of times if you have to contract out someone to help you with the paperwork stuff, they will reimburse that. But it's very detailed on what they will reimburse and what they won't.
Does the paperwork now?
Your sheriff's office and summer. And they already wear multiple.
And the sheriff's office does it because he's the emergency coordinator?
Yes.
I'm trying to see him over there, see what his face looks like.
Maybe the sheriff gets it all.
Yes.
But, yeah, I mean, if you contract out the, doing the top of the roads and stuff like that, I mean, you're gonna burn through that 379,000 real quick.
But there's no material left on the roads, and then it went in the ditch and gone. I mean, even though you can still drive down the roads, there's nothing to pull or to play.
The problem is we all know that, we drove these roads, we know that, FEMA doesn't, and so that's why they
Require the pull for and the after.
At
That,
this meeting on certain county roads.
But pictures don't even show it.
No.
and so that's another reason why they didn't validate a lot, is pictures don't always show everything. And the damage assessments are very limited, detail oriented. So that's why they come in. They've never been here. They probably never heard of Goldthwaite, Texas, but they come in and that's why they want proof. That's why they want you to provide the documentation to prove that what you're asking for is actually accurate.
What happened on your county roads?
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Got a few pictures, like we said, we made pictures of it, but before and after, and then after the second rain.
But you don't have no pictures of what the roads.
Mike, they're wanting pictures from
Prior,
3 years
I
ago.
know it, we don't have, I understand. We have none.
Things, so that is why, because this is kind of the first dealing we've had.
They don't even have pictures from 3 years ago.
This is the one that's for everybody, and so that's why that application briefing, I feel bad for that FEMA representative, I have questions for. So I think that we need to bring these questions up, because we don't have a lot of before proof. So what are they gonna allow?
I mean,
Jason did, prior to us coming on the court, they had FEMA in here delivering a bunch of, did they
So
make
they
any kind
did
of?
back in during the 07 floods, but it was, 10. But it was Teresa Strickler. You remember Teresa Strickler? She was hired by the city of Goldthwaite and the county to be part-time. She was part-time, FEMA person and part-time librarian. She ended up doing 80 hours a week, roughly, FEMA work. And I called her and visited with her, and she said it was a lot of work. And she had to get with the commissioners daily to get the paperwork and get the stuff done. To any damage, she'd have to get with guys, she'd have to get with Sheriff Poole about the church funds, all that stuff, she'd have to do that. But she said if a commissioner, I'm gonna pick on a commissioner, if Jason didn't wanna give the assistance and the help, then after you've already said you're gonna do it, that commissioner, me, can screw up the whole program. So everybody has to be on board, is what I'm saying. It can't be just,
One or two, it
Yeah.
has to be the whole.
and they had a lot of problems at that time with one commissioner. Which actually hurt that precinct very badly.
Was that when they were unified or not?
Part of it was unified. I mean, when they applied for it, they were not a unified road system. You follow me? At the end of it, they were a unified road system, and then before they actually finished all the paperwork, they were back out of the unified road system.
Well, I know, and it has nothing to do with this, but 130 was one of the roads, and of course, that's another
Yeah.
thing too with the FEMA, just cause you have damage somewhere, that they may not even pay on. Even massive damage. But one of the roads then was 130 that runs from Toddy House back to 1029. And they got to buy in there, and the county actually had to hire a contractor.
Well, and so Dan Parton, your kin folks, was hired during the unified road system to do some of the FEMA work.
Yeah.
And so, I know you can hire contract people just because they got a timeline.
You can't hire them. That's done. $300,000.
If that's all they're giving us, we'd be better off not to do it.
I'm telling you, don't make a decision yet. Let's get to that application briefing. Let's have that discussion. Let's go from there and see.
Y'all can decide not to do it. Y'all can decide to do that, and that's fine. It's y'all's decision. Cause it is a lot. Like I've said, it's a lot. But let's get to that application briefing.
Let's answer some questions. Let's see what they're going to be requesting from us and go from there. Because it's out of the hands that we're all in the same boat. And so we're all going to be doing this at the exact same time. And Dickie Claire is the perfect person to talk to because she
So-
lived it.
Can you reach out to him and since they've done it and see how they posted that meeting?
So I do everything for Hamilton County, and we're doing the exact same thing.
How do you make it private?
So we haven't they weren't gonna make it private. So
I don't know.
they were trying to get it for this afternoon. They were already gonna go into, and don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were going into an executive meeting on other stuff about the flooding, and they were gonna try to get that in tomorrow afternoon. But that has changed because FEMA can't get here today and tomorrow. So that's another thing I'm gonna talk to them about this tomorrow in Commissioners Court too, and see what their thoughts are as well. They have Commissioners Court at 9 o'clock in the morning. So, but they're on the same pathway as y'all. They're the same thing. Their upcoming thing is application briefing. They're on the exact same path. So they're not any different. Y'all are about the same. They actually had a little bit more of reported damage assessments than y'all did. So, yes and no. So, you're not the only ones. Just remember that. Y'all aren't the only ones. Anybody have any other questions for me? I'm trying. Sorry for today, but I'm trying, I'm making sure. I'm gonna send you some of this stuff. Again, I've sent it to you before. I'm gonna go ahead and send it to you again. But let me know if I can help you. If you have any more damage assessments or anything else you want to do an assessment on, call me and I'll make sure to be there. I'm not going anywhere this month. I'm staying here so that I can help y'all out.
On one of my little water crossings that we fixed for the second time, we washed out this last time, it actually took an extra 15 feet of the road this time. It's just bigger.
Again, I can't stress it enough. Yes, y'all haven't documented the before. Start putting that in your daily stuff, is documenting, taking pictures and things like that. But all right, call me if y'all need anything. Sorry.
Next is, commissioners requesting, reports. Mike.
Been working on county roads 313, 306, 310, 403, 327. We still have 308 that's closed. We're gonna try to get something over there where we can get it opened up. I had a maintainer. I was notified at 6:45 on Thursday that it was on fire. It was parked, they reported it was parked on, County Road 515, but actually it's on County Road 505. The sheriff's office has investigation right now. We had some radio equipment inside of it, and then it's disappeared. And the doors were open on it when we got there at 7 o'clock. So the state of Texas sent investigators here to look at it. So I'll try to keep the court posted on what's going on with it. Insurance is supposed to be here. They hadn't contacted me yet, but it's completely destroyed. I've taken pictures of everything. We've had locks are turned off and everything on it was like it was supposed to be. We had it out for a week. Now I took it out because I was called by a landowner that one end of the low water crossing had washed out and you couldn't see it. But they knew about it and they were afraid somebody's gonna try to cross it and have damage. And so I did close the road down, have barricades up, and they disappeared. So I took a maintainer and we hauled 2 loads of material for it and fixed that low water crossing. And we parked it because the water still not down yet. So I was afraid it was gonna wash out again. So we left the maintainer and I got documentation on it when we took it out and when we left it, and it was sitting there for a week. So, and like I say, it's total loss. I do have a new road hand. He started today and he's fully qualified and seems like a good young man, but he has all of his license and he's ready to go to work on any equipment too that he can operate. Also, I had a letter and I showed it to you that this natural gas line is coming through Mills County, and that's going to be a kind of an open meeting in Gatesville. The dates I have on it, 4 to 8. And I wanted to make sure that was, if somebody, I don't even know where it's going through. I think Robert.
I don't think, Mike, it's gonna even hit your precinct. It will be a county issue, but it's gonna go through my precinct. It's called De La Express. And there is, the one you're talking to is in Gatesville. And it's on the 13th and it's from 4 to 8, but it goes from my precinct across Dale's and across Robert. So you're the only one that really doesn't see it.
That's good. I have
And
enough.
actually, we have, the only thing we have is one letter from this.
Yeah.
Yes, that's all.
We have no, they sent a map
Yeah.
of where it's going, but there's
Can't
nothing else, so we don't know when it's what.
Brown County, KOXE announced it last Friday on their information that they were coming to Brownwood like the 26th. And those dates aren't even on that letter, so it's the week after. So if we wanted to wait a week, we can go probably to.
I just wanted to make sure that hopefully that some of us would attend that thing to see kind of what's going on, because I've had a lot of questions. I've had some calls too on this private project on another piece of property on solar, and that's a kind of private project, so.
This borders the solar.
Yeah. Outside the solar.
I mean, well, their deals are with private landowners.
Right, that's what I've said.
You know, and the only thing, pipeline, they're not, as far as I know, they're not asking the county for anything.
Correct.
You know, I mean, all I got was a letter stating that at some point they were going from point Z out in West Texas to point A down on the coast.
Louisiana.
And they just finished.
That's my understanding too.
Well, but we as a county get revenue off of that.
You'll get revenue
Yeah.
when it's done, but
Yeah.
as far as calling any of the shots
Yeah.
and what they're doing, it's not.
Correct. That's kind of way I've looked at it, but, also I've already ordered 2 loads. I had to get, the old ironworks to haul a couple of belly loads for the Pleasant Grove low water crossing. We had it patched temporary and it washed out and I have no more material. So I got 2 loads from them, and I'll try to get a bill and get it all. That's all the flood deal. So I don't know how that's gonna work either.
Yeah.
But
Just as long as you document it.
Our nickel.
also, Jason coordinated the, millings down here, and we did haul it to precinct 1 yard. And it's got a lot of dirt in it. I guess it'd be good for Phil, but I didn't split it up. I just made one big pile, and
That was the same day as the fire too, so dividing it up would have been a little bit hard, so.
yeah, I didn't have time. I was, like I say, I was doing the piling on it, so all I could do is just make one big pile, and that's what I did with it. But anyway, it's started to use, and the only thing, I don't even know how many loads, Jason, did you know?
The guys kept track of it and I haven't.
I hadn't had a
They
chance.
kept track of how many loads they took, so.
But anyway, it's probably pretty good field material if some of it, we need it, and we're gonna need, everybody's gonna need some of it, but anyway, that's all I have.
Robert?
We started up, on County Road 333, we had a couple 10 horns that we had to get patched up. They were giving plumb away on me, so we got them done. Had a storm over in Mount Olive area. We had a bunch of trees go through and cut down and everything. We started blading roads. We fired up all 3 maintainers. Started double blading most of the roads through Lomita, Moline, through, Star and Center City area and, everything. And then so we bladed, I'm not gonna go through the list, but we bladed 28 roads last week, and basically we just got Mount Olive left, and we'll finish that up today. And,
Your road closures, is that current?
my road closures, I think it's current. 312 is still closed.
Okay.
250 is still closed, and we're gonna start working on them tomorrow or following, we're gonna start working on them this week. The west end of 235 is closed from 2005 to 219. That's all is closed, which is about a half a mile strip right there where there's nothing there, so, but, we're gonna,
You've also got 323 and 333 that are closed.
no, those have been open, I've already opened them up.
Okay.
Why?
They're still closed on the website,
Oh, okay.
so.
No, they're open, they've been, already, those closed due to, you'd had to swim across the low water crossing,
You
still
need to
dry.
go down and make sure Jackie gets those off.
I'll double check with her. And Mike, actually on year 12, depending on how insurance work, I mean, like, any way I can scrounge onto that thing for salvage,
Yes,
I need, that way I have, cause I have a 12 also.
and they said the motor, most of the damage. it
Is
looked
the
like
cab
the
area.
Cab area.
And I know on that thing one time before, when we had to work on the rear end, you know, you couldn't get we couldn't get parts for it without them making them, so I mean, if,
The only thing that's been the question on that so far, Robert, is that they told me not to touch it. Not to haul it off, not to do anything with it until, once the insurance,
right,
they wanted to ask if we had insurance, and then we'll have to negotiate that if you want parts off of it.
yeah, I mean,
And the motor's probably, it's good shape.
I mean, you got the motor, radiator, fuel tank, motor, I mean, there's quite a bit of parts that interchange with
Yeah.
the 12G I have.
Once the insurance, I hear something from them, then I'll get contact with you and then we'll negotiate with them. And if you want to keep it, we'll bring it to court and
Okay,
turn it over to you.
alright, so, either way.
But it's marked off right now in Conedog.
Yeah.
Mechanic, that's all. We've got a rubber tire loader that went down first, we've got 2 maintainers down, and we ran the well off the dump truck, so. Then last week, spent a lot of windshield time, I guess you'd say, trying to find pieces, have a mechanic from Mercury that's out, I guess he is. We're gonna work on, we're working on the truck, putting the wheel back. Spindles and everything else, and he's supposed to be working on 2 maintainers. We haven't done really anything to the rubber tire loaders. It's sitting on the side of the road, because when the maintainers went down, I told him I needed maintainers worse than I needed rubber tire loaders, so.
And with that thing done, you can't move it more anyway.
No, it's dead in the water until it gets fixed, so, basically it's precinct 3 mechanic shop. I guess we do have one maintainer and 1 belly dump running.
Well, so I heard of all these mechanical problems you had, and then I was scared that you'd borrowed Mike's maintainer. And you were the problem.
So I'm sure glad I didn't take him.
You've also got county roads that are on the webpage. Are those corrected? And that those are correct?
I never had anything closed.
Okay, it has 417 closed,
That's not mine.
or 517. 517.
517 was closed during the rain.
Is it still closed? Okay, so that needs to be taken off the website. Okay, next is precinct 4. Like everybody else, we've been trying to fix up the bad spots and then trying to blade some areas and just, or spot blading all over. I'm not gonna list all those. Also had some budget meetings with the judge. And then I met with Goldthwaite Municipal Golf Course this last week, and a potential of maybe getting some material out there. It depends on a lot of depending on stuff, but I'm doing some research on maybe getting us maybe a location where the county can get material or blast or whatever, if we wanted to go that route. It all depends on what FEMA does. You know what I'm saying? It all depends on money, and it all depends on if all we're gonna get is that 300,000, then, you know, it's maybe not worth it. But it would be through an interlocal agreement type thing. And again, I just got that ball rolling. And I met with them, so you'll see some of that come. It's still with me working with that. And it was funny, I went to city to ask if I could ask about the golf course or go out there and look, and the city told me I had to go talk to the golf course board. When I went to the golf course board, they told me I had to go to the city and talk to the city, so anyway, I
So
just went to the golf course board and now.
we talk further with golf balls.
I really don't know who has permission of giving it, any creating anything out there, so.
Is the material, or you don't really know?
I really don't know. I'd like to dig. There's also a bunch of material where they dug up from one of the, I didn't know this, one of the reservoirs
Reservoir.
that's sitting behind the airport. But it's larger rocks and they'd have to be crushed. But what would that be? What would the price be and all that? So I'm starting that for FEMA purposes, trying to get above the ball game there and see if that, all I'm doing is legwork right now, so.
That should be pretty good material.
Yeah, Robbie said that when he was working with you, y'all went and got some material, and then it got down to it was just rocks, and so they couldn't get any more, but anyway, so I'm reaching out and trying to do that legwork right there. Anything else anybody like to bring before the court before closing? I do not have a judge's report, so number 11, Mike,
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
here's a second,
I'll second it.
second by Dale. Commissioner's court is closed.